So the next speaker should be Shingo Shimoda, as far as I see on the program. Shingo, are you with us?
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
All right.
Very. So I'll stop sharing if I manage. Otherwise, just take the screen, try to share yourself if you can.
Oh, I can't share. Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Okay. So the next speaker is Shingo Shimoda from Riken. And so as far as I understand, each of us has like 10 minutes so that we have time for the panel discussion. So I have to try to keep an eye on that. And the talk is titled Unconscious Intelligence Embedded in Human Beings. Shingo, floor is yours.
All right. Thank you very much for kind introduction. My name is Shingo Shimoda from Riken Center of Brain Science. So today I want to talk about the human embodied intelligence to stimulate the discussion in panel. So I named unconscious intelligence. So first I want to explain what is unconscious intelligence. So for this image, when you're walking using the smartphone like this figure, so when you walk with smartphone, your consciousness, your attention is mainly focused on the smartphone operation. On the other hand, that the walking control, you don't need to care too much. So we can say that this is almost unconscious process. So in this case, that conscious process is a very logical process actually. So this logical process means that when we understanding or evaluation or decision making, that is, we can say that this is a logical process. And it is said that this kind of logical process can be only one task. So single task is possible using our consciousness. And mainly our conscious process is the symbolized information is used for our conscious process. On the other hand, the walking control in this walking smartphone task, it is said that this kind of walking task is very reactive task to the environmental changes. And it is said that we can do it parallelly. So this kind of walking or something handling or that kind of task is progressing as a multitask. And we can, in this unconscious process, that we use a very simple, for example, a single neural activity, or we can use a simple as information. So very wide range of information is used in unconscious process. So if we say that this kind of feature of unconscious process, it seems very simple task or well-trained task, but actually this is not true. Even this unconscious process and this control progress unconsciously, the process is not simple or not a patterned one, but we should adapt our behavior to the unpredictable environmental changes in real time. So for example, that if we work, our terrain or ground condition is very unpredictable, but we easily adapt to it. But this process is unconsciously, we can do that. But interesting point is that we cannot do that consciously. So this means that our unconscious process has a different kind of intelligence from the conscious process. So this unconscious process exactly the embodied in intelligence, but we can say this one unconscious intelligence. And another interesting point of this conscious intelligence and unconscious intelligence, you know that human beings evolved from these monkeys, but human beings appeared as a result of the great evolution of conscious intelligence. I think that this one everybody can agree about that. But on the other hand, it is said that unconscious intelligence or embodied intelligence of human beings has seen a little change from the less evolved manual like the dogs or squids, from this not so big difference for in unconscious process between these animals or human beings. This is another interesting point of the unconscious intelligence. And if we say, if we divide our intelligence in that two parts, we can say that our over advanced conscious intelligence can hinder a person's well-being. That means that imbalanced conscious intelligence, that was great advance in human beings, but unconsciousness that is not changed a lot from the animals. So unbalance, these two factors makes human beings worse. That is another important point of these two intelligence. So for example, that when we can estimate our future using our conscious process, but we don't have a sensor to measure the future, or we don't have an actuator that directly operate future, but we can consciously estimate the future and we worry about future and mentally depress our mental, just estimation. That is one of the example of that our advanced conscious intelligence can hinder the person's well-being. And this is has a large scale interruption of the well-being, but in some medical process, there are several interesting phenomena that our conscious intelligence and imbalance of our conscious intelligence and unconscious intelligence. So one of the example is this disease called the complex regional pain syndrome called CRPS. I think that not many people are not familiar about this disease, but CRPS is a syndrome that the small injury changes to the large area pain and motion paralysis, even though the triggered injury is recovered. So for example, in this patient case, this patient start is a very small bone fracture of the wrist, just wrist. But 2 months after this injury, the fracture, she cannot move her arm well like that. And all muscle activity getting a little strange one happens. And interesting point is this CLPS happens only in human beings. And actually the detailed mechanism to be CLPS is unknown, but it seems too much self-care. For example, that not to move or not to try to not to move, or such kind of too much self-care makes the first very small injury to the worst one. So we can say that this is one of the important examples that our over advanced conscious intelligence makes things worse, as encouraging the inappropriate adaptation of unconscious intelligence. So one of the idea is we use a robot to support unconscious intelligence and make a good balance of our conscious intelligence and unconscious intelligence. So one of the key points to support the unconscious intelligence is the sensory information integration at insula. So insula is one of the brain parts that integrate the several sensor information. And if we encourage the network connectivity, including this insular part, it seems that this kind of problems makes better. It is getting clear like that. So I will introduce a very quick, simple one in this presentation, but one of the easy way to encourage the network connectivity, including the insular, is self-support. So in this patient case, the similar case of the previous patient, that she cannot control her right arm at all. But we create this kind of system that is possible to support controlling the healthy side, support the motion of the paralyzed arm using the healthy side. Suddenly, the muscle activity appears in her paralyzed side. So this kind of support can encourage the network connectivity, including the insular, and create the recovery of the patient. So this is one example. So we are now ongoing project for this kind of unconscious intelligence support system using the robot. So the summary of my talk is, so our intelligence, human's intelligence, can be divided into two factors. One is a conscious intelligence, and the other is unconscious intelligence. And the conscious intelligence is a great evolution in human beings, while the unconscious intelligence is a little change from the low evolved mammals. And because of this kind of changes, that our over-advanced conscious intelligence may hinder the person's well-being. And if we support well this unconscious intelligence, it make a good balance, and it will change things better. Okay, thank you very much. This is my talk.